High above Earth's atmosphere, the alien research vessel Zenith 7 hung silently in space. Inside, Chief Scientist Krell stared at his scanning devices in disbelief. He checked the readings again and again, his 4 eyes blinking rapidly in confusion. "This can't be right," he muttered, his thin fingers tapping nervously on the control panel. "Professor Mira, please come look at these readings." Professor Mira floated across the ship's laboratory, her silvery skin reflecting the soft blue lights of the computer screens. She was the most experienced xenobiologist in the Galactic Science Academy, but nothing in her 200 years of research had prepared her for what she saw on those screens. "Impossible," she whispered. "The gravity is crushing. The radiation levels are lethal. The temperature swings are extreme. The atmosphere is filled with corrosive oxygen. And yet..." On their main view screen, they watched as billions of creatures went about their daily lives on the planet's surface. The most interesting among them walked on 2 legs, built giant cities, and seemed completely unaware that they were living in what should be a dead world. "According to our classification system," Krell said, his voice shaking, "this planet ranks as a Class 12 Deathworld. No other known planet with intelligent life ranks above Class 3. Professor Mira zoomed in on a city called New York. They watched as humans rushed around in their daily activities. Some were running for exercise, willingly making their bodies work harder in the crushing gravity. Others were swimming in the dangerous oceans or climbing tall mountains, where the air was thin. "Look at this," she said, pointing to a new reading. "Their bodies are mostly water, yet they survive in freezing temperatures. They live in deserts where water is scarce. They've even built cities in places where the air is so thin that most species would faint." Krell pulled up historical data on their screens. "It gets even more interesting, Professor. These humans have survived multiple extinction-level events. Their planet has been hit by giant asteroids, faced extreme ice ages, and experienced massive volcanic eruptions. Each time, they not only survived but grew stronger." The research team watched in amazement as their computers showed humans living in every environment on Earth. They had built homes in frozen wastelands near the poles and in scorching deserts near the equator. They survived in deep jungles and on the highest mountains. "But here's what truly makes no sense," Professor Mira said, pulling up new data. "They're not just surviving, they're thriving. Look at their technological progress. In just a few hundred years, they went from simple tools to space exploration. They did this all while living in conditions that would kill most species in minutes." Krell added another startling discovery. Their bodies are incredibly resilient. They can break bones, and the bones grow back stronger. They can lose blood and make more. They can survive on different types of food. They can even heal from most poisons given enough time. As they studied the humans more closely, they noticed something else unusual. Humans seemed to actively seek out dangerous situations. They climbed mountains for fun. They dove into deep oceans for sport. They raced vehicles at deadly speeds for entertainment. "We need to classify this immediately," Professor Mira decided. She began preparing an urgent message to the Galactic Science Academy. "This is the first Class 12 Deathworld ever discovered that supports intelligent life. The humans are unlike anything we've ever seen." Just then, their sensors picked up something new. A human space vessel was launching from the planet's surface. The aliens watched in shock as the humans willingly strapped themselves to giant containers of explosive fuel, pointing themselves toward the stars. "They're trying to reach space," Krell said in amazement. "Even though space is even more deadly than their planet, they're determined to explore it." Professor Mira made her final notes in the report. "The humans don't seem to understand that they're special. To them, this is normal. They don't realize they're living on a planet that would kill most advanced species instantly. This makes them either the toughest or the craziest species we've ever discovered." As they prepared to send their findings to the Academy, both scientists knew one thing for certain: the discovery of humans would change galactic science forever. These creatures, who walked through daily conditions that would be fatal to most life forms, were about to become the most studied species in the galaxy. What they didn't know yet was that this was just the beginning of humanity's story in the galactic community, and that their incredible toughness would soon be needed more than anyone could imagine. 3 months after discovering Earth, Professor Mira led the first alien research team to study humans up close. Their ship landed quietly in a remote forest in Canada, cloaked from human detection. The team of 6 scientists wore their most advanced protective suits, which they thought would easily handle Earth's conditions. They were wrong. Warning: environmental hazards detected. Their suits' alarms blared just minutes after stepping onto Earth's surface. The aliens staggered under Earth's crushing gravity, which made even their lightweight research equipment feel impossibly heavy. How do humans carry those large bags we saw in our videos? Gasped research assistant Vix, watching a group of hikers in the distance easily carrying heavy backpacks up a steep trail. The young scientist's legs trembled under Earth's powerful gravity. Professor Mira checked her instruments. Their muscle density is incredible. According to these readings, an average human child is stronger than our strongest adult athletes. But gravity wasn't their only problem. Within an hour, despite their protective suits, 3 team members became sick. Their bodies couldn't handle the high oxygen levels in Earth's atmosphere, the same air humans breathed easily every day. The team's medical officer, Dr. Zen, was shocked by his findings. "This is remarkable," he said, analyzing the data. Earth's air would be like breathing acid for most galactic species, but humans, their bodies actually need this corrosive oxygen to survive. They die without it. The team watched from hiding as a human family set up a campsite nearby. The parents let their small children play in the dirt that the aliens' sensors showed was teeming with millions of microscopic organisms. "Impossible," Dr. Zen muttered. "Those tiny humans are exposed to more bacteria in one handful of soil than exist on our entire home world. Yet, they're completely fine." The next shock came when it started to rain. The aliens rushed for cover, but the humans just pulled on light jackets and continued their activities. Professor Mira's suit sensors went crazy. The water falling from the sky, it's not just water, it's naturally acidic. And look at the electrical discharges in those clouds. She pointed at a lightning storm approaching. Any other species would evacuate before such dangerous weather, but humans, they actually seemed to enjoy it. The team observed something even more extraordinary when night fell. The temperature dropped rapidly, a change that would kill most species without advanced temperature regulation technology. But the humans simply put on thicker clothes and gathered around a campfire, deliberately creating and controlling one of nature's most destructive forces. "Look at their children," research assistant Vix said in amazement. "They're playing some sort of game where they put sweet organic matter on sticks and hold it over the fire. They're teaching their young to manipulate dangerous elements as a form of entertainment." But the biggest surprise came when they analyzed human biology more closely. Dr. Zen could barely believe his medical scans. "Their bodies are incredible war machines," he explained to the team. "When they lift heavy weights, their muscles don't break, they grow stronger. When their skin is damaged by their harsh sun, it doesn't die. It creates protective pigments. They can break bones, and instead of dying, the bones heal stronger than before. Even their blood carries oxygen that would destroy our bodies from the inside." Professor Mira had to call for an emergency evacuation when 2 more team members fell ill, despite their protective equipment. As they prepared to leave, they witnessed one final shocking scene. A human child fell and cut their knee. Instead of seeking immediate medical attention for the wound, the parents simply cleaned it, applied a small bandage, and the child went right back to playing. "Their bodies don't just survive injuries," Professor Mira noted in her final report. "They learn from them. Every cut, every break, every bone that doesn't kill them literally makes them stronger. Earth isn't just a death world, it's a training ground. And humans aren't just survivors, they're the ultimate product of their planet's harsh evolution." As their ship lifted off, Professor Mira made one last observation that would change everything. If humans are this powerful on their Deathworld, imagine what they could do on worlds that we consider safe. The galaxy isn't ready for what's coming. Little did she know, the galaxy would need humanity's incredible abilities sooner than anyone expected. The Galactic Science Academy's Grand Hall buzzed with excitement. Hundreds of alien scientists from across the galaxy gathered to hear Professor Mira's presentation about humans. But this wasn't just another scientific lecture, it was a revelation that would change their understanding of life itself. Professor Mira stood at the center, her silvery skin gleaming under the lights. Behind her, massive screens showed scenes from Earth's history. "Fellow scientists," she began, "we thought we understood what made species strong. We were wrong. Let me show you why." The first image appeared, ancient humans hunting massive woolly mammoths. The audience gasped. When most species face giant predators, they evolved to hide or run away. Humans, they invented spears and worked in teams. They didn't just survive, they became the predators. She switched to another scene, early humans in various environments. "Look at this. When it was too cold, other species migrated, humans. They took the fur from other animals and made clothes. When they needed to cross oceans, they didn't evolve fins, they built boats. When they couldn't fly, they didn't grow wings, they created machines that could soar higher than any natural creature." Dr. Zen stepped forward with his medical findings. "Their bodies are even more remarkable than we first thought. Humans are the only known species that can eat almost anything. They can digest plants, meat, fungi, even substances that would poison other creatures. Some humans even eat things called ghost peppers that cause intense pain, for entertainment." The audience murmured in disbelief as they watched videos of humans participating in spicy food challenges. "But here's what's truly extraordinary," Professor Mira continued. "Humans don't just adapt to survive, they adapt to thrive. When they discovered regions too hot for their bodies, they didn't just create shelter. They built entire cities in deserts, complete with artificial cold air. They turned death zones into luxury resorts." The next images showed human cities throughout history. Look at their pattern. Other species build to avoid their environment. Humans? They build to challenge it. Their cities aren't just shelters, they're monuments to their defiance of nature itself. Dr. Zen presented his most shocking discovery. Their bodies actually become stronger through stress. They call it exercise, deliberately damaging their muscles so they grow back stronger. They expose themselves to dangerous situations as training. Even their children play games that prepare them for survival. Professor Mira moved to her most important point. She showed images of human space exploration. When they reached the limits of their world, they looked up and saw the most hostile environment of all, space. Any rational species would have stopped there, but humans, they strapped themselves to explosive fuel tanks and launched themselves into the void. Not because they had to, but because they wanted to. The audience watched in stunned silence as videos showed humans living in space stations, walking on their moon, and sending probes to distant planets. "And here's what terrifies me," Professor Mira said softly. "They don't know they're special. To them, this drive to push boundaries, to explore deadly environments, to constantly become stronger, it's just who they are. They call it human nature." She paused as her final slides appeared, graphs showing human technological progress. In just a few hundred years, they went from simple tools to quantum computers, from horse-drawn carriages to spacecraft. While we evolved to survive our gentle worlds, Earth's harsh conditions forced humans to become problem solvers. They don't just adapt to their environment, they adapt their environment to themselves. The presentation's conclusion struck like a thunderbolt. "We've been looking at humans all wrong. Earth isn't a death world that humans somehow survive. Earth is a forge, and humans are the steel that emerged from its fire. Everything that should have killed them only made them stronger." Just then, An urgent message flashed across all screens in the hall. The head of the academy rushed onto the stage, his face pale with worry. He whispered something to Professor Mira, whose eyes widened in shock. She turned back to the audience, her voice grave. "Distinguished colleagues, we just received terrible news. A deadly anomaly has been detected heading toward our most populated worlds. Our scientists say no known species can survive its effects." She paused, looking at the images of humans on her screens. No known species, except perhaps one that evolved on a world that already defied death itself. The hall erupted in urgent discussions. Everyone knew what this meant. The galaxy's survival might depend on the very species they had just been studying, the Deathworld warriors called humans. Professor Mira added one final, quiet observation. "We've spent 3 months studying how humans survive on their deadly world. Now we might need them to teach us how to survive too." The emergency meeting chamber of the Galactic Council was filled with terrified representatives from 1,000 worlds. The massive hologram at the center of the room showed a swirling purple mass moving through space, the deadly anomaly that threatened their civilization. High Chancellor Vex, his usual blue skin now pale with fear, addressed the council. "The anomaly contains a mixture of radiation, gravitational distortions, and corrosive elements that will destroy any world it touches. Our best estimates show it will reach our core worlds in 6 months." A scientist stepped forward, her tentacles trembling as she presented the data. "We've sent probe ships into the anomaly. None survived longer than 2 minutes. The conditions inside are what?" demanded a council member. "They're exactly like Earth." The chamber erupted in shocked whispers. Professor Mira, now serving as the head of human studies, took the floor. "Inside the anomaly, we found crushing gravity, extreme radiation, corrosive atmosphere, rapid temperature changes, and high pressure, all at levels that match or exceed Earth's conditions. It's as if the universe created a traveling death world." The council members watched in horror as video footage showed their most advanced ships crumbling inside the anomaly. Metal dissolved, shields failed, and even their strongest materials shattered under the strain. "But look at this," Professor Mira said, changing the display. The screen showed readings from Earth, nearly identical to those inside the anomaly. Humans live with these conditions every day. Their bodies handle radiation that would kill us. They survive pressure that would crush our ships. They breathe air that would dissolve our lungs. High Chancellor Vex leaned forward. "Are you suggesting we ask humans for help? They don't even have faster-than-light travel yet." "No," Professor Mira replied, "but they have something more valuable. They have bodies and minds evolved to survive exactly these conditions. And they have something else we never understood before. They love impossible challenges." The council chamber's doors opened dramatically. Dr. Zen rushed in, carrying new research results. "You need to see this. We've been studying human entertainment, their movies and books. For fun, they imagine scenarios exactly like this. They call them disaster movies and apocalyptic scenarios. They've been mentally preparing for something like this their entire history." Professor Mira nodded excitedly. "Yes. Where we see hopeless disaster, humans see opportunity for what they call heroic action. They have countless stories about small teams overcoming impossible odds to save their world." The council watched clips from human movies showing their fictional heroes saving Earth from various disasters. Many council members shook their heads in disbelief. "But those are just stories," one member argued. "No," Professor Mira countered. "Those stories reveal something crucial about humans. They don't accept death worlds. They challenge them. They don't surrender to deadly conditions. They overcome them. And most importantly, they help others survive impossible situations." She played her final evidence, historical footage of human rescue workers running into burning buildings, diving into frozen waters, and climbing treacherous mountains to save others. "Look, they risk death to save even single lives. Imagine what they might do to save entire worlds." High Chancellor Vex stood up. How do we even approach them? We're talking about a species that doesn't know other intelligent life exists. Professor Mira smiled. Actually, they've been expecting us. They've made thousands of movies about first contact with aliens. They're more prepared for this moment than any species in galactic history. Just then, the chamber's emergency alarms blared. The anomaly had changed course, moving faster than predicted. They had less time than they thought. The High Chancellor made his decision. Professor Mira, you know humans best. Take our fastest ship to Earth. Make contact. But remember, we're not just asking them to save us. We're asking them to do something that has killed every being who's attempted it. Professor Mira's response surprised everyone. Chancellor, with all respect, you're wrong. We're not asking humans to do something deadly. We're inviting them to do what they do best, accomplish the impossible. As she prepared for her mission to Earth, Professor Mira reviewed the first human she would contact, a disaster response specialist named Sarah Chen, whose record showed a history of succeeding at impossible rescues. Time to see if humans are as remarkable as we think they are, she muttered, boarding her ship. The galaxy's survival depends on it. What she didn't know was that humans would prove to be even more extraordinary than anyone imagined, in ways that would reshape the understanding of life itself. Sarah Chen stood in front of the massive view screen at the newly established Earth Defense Command Center, studying the swirling purple anomaly that threatened the galaxy. Around her, an unlikely team had assembled. Astronauts, deep-sea divers, volcano researchers, Arctic explorers, and other specialists in surviving Earth's most extreme conditions. So, she said, turning to Professor Mira, you're telling us that thing out there is basically Earth cranked up to 11. Precisely, the alien scientist replied, still adjusting to her protective suit. But what's remarkable is how your people reacted to this news. We expected panic. Instead, within 48 hours, every major nation offered their best survival specialists. Sarah smiled. That's because you just described our perfect training ground. Hey, Marcus, show the professor your volcano suit modifications. Marcus Rodriguez, a veteran volcano researcher, stepped forward with what looked like a heavily modified space suit. We've combined NASA's thermal protection with deep-sea pressure technology. If we can walk inside an active volcano, we can handle your anomaly. In another corner of the facility, Dr. Yuki Tanaka, an expert in radiation shielding, worked with deep-sea specialists to modify underwater breathing systems. The pressure in the anomaly is similar to being 3 kilometers under the ocean, she explained while testing a new breathing apparatus. Good thing we humans have been exploring those depths for decades. Professor Mira watched in amazement as the humans treated the deadliest environment ever discovered like it was just another challenge to overcome. Her assistant, Crowell, monitored their training sessions with growing disbelief. They're enjoying this, he whispered to her. Yesterday, one of them said this was better than an escape room, whatever that is. The training exercises proved just how unique humans were. While alien species needed years of preparation to handle minor environmental changes, humans adapted to new challenges in days. They combined different survival techniques in ways no one had imagined before. Arctic explorer James White demonstrated this by teaching everyone how to regulate their breathing under stress. If we can stay calm in a blizzard at minus 60 degrees, he explained, we can handle anything that anomaly throws at us. But the most surprising innovation came from an unexpected source. A group of parkour athletes and urban explorers had volunteered, bringing their expertise in moving through challenging environments. Think about it, explained Mai Wong, a professional parkour athlete. We spend our lives learning how to navigate hostile environments while conserving energy. Low gravity zones in the anomaly. That's just like executing a perfect jump. Sudden gravity spikes. We train for hard landings every day. Sarah watched as Mai demonstrated techniques for moving efficiently through varying gravity fields. The alien scientists were stunned. Humans had developed sports that accidentally prepared them for space anomalies. Professor Mira's most shocking discovery came during a routine medical examination. Your body's that actually getting stronger under the training conditions. You're adapting to environments that kill other species. That's what humans do best, Sarah replied while testing a new protective helmet. We don't just survive challenges, we learn from them. We get better, stronger, smarter. The final test came in a massive chamber designed to simulate the anomaly's conditions. While the alien scientists watched from behind thick barriers, the human team stepped into an environment that matched their worst predictions. They didn't just survive, they thrived. Sarah emerged from the chamber grinning. Professor, your deadly anomaly. It's basically Earth's greatest hits album. Radiation like a solar flare. Got it. Pressure like the deep ocean. Check. Corrosive atmosphere like our industrial accidents. Please. Temperature swings like our deserts and Arctic combined. That's just a typical Tuesday in some places. But their confidence faced its first real test when the long-range sensors detected something new. The anomaly wasn't just moving through space, it was evolving, becoming even more deadly. Professor Mira rushed to share the new data, expecting the humans to finally show fear. Instead, Sarah Chen gathered her team and said something that would be remembered in alien history books forever. So it adapts? Good, because that's what we do best. Earth didn't just make us strong, it taught us that the impossible is just something no one's done yet. As the team made final preparations to enter the anomaly, Professor Mira made an entry in her research log. We thought we were asking humans to attempt something impossible. We were wrong. We're simply giving them a chance to show the galaxy why Deathworlds create the strongest life. The mission would launch tomorrow. The galaxy would soon learn if human adaptability was truly the key to survival. But watching these remarkable beings prepare, Professor Mira already knew one thing for certain. The universe had never seen anything quite like humans before. The human ship, Earthborn, hung at the edge of the purple anomaly, looking tiny against the swirling chaos ahead. Inside, Sarah Chen and her team made final checks on their hybrid survival suits, equipment that combined every extreme survival technology humans had ever created. Remember, Sarah addressed her team, everything trying to kill us in there is something Earth already taught us to handle. We're not just humanity's best survivors, we're Earth's graduation class. The alien observation fleet watched from a safe distance as the human ship did something unprecedented. It flew straight into the anomaly's heart. The moment they entered, every system went crazy. The ship groaned under gravitational forces that should have crushed it instantly. But humans had learned from deep-sea submersibles. They'd built their ship like a whale, flexible enough to bend without breaking. Pressures hitting 300 times Earth normal. Marcus called out from his station, just like the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Piece of cake. Radiation alarms screamed warnings. Dr. Tanaka calmly activated their radiation shields based on technology developed for nuclear cleanup crews. Radiation levels matching Chernobyl. We've handled worse. The temperature swung wildly, from near absolute zero to volcanic heat in minutes. But the team's suits, combining Arctic gear and volcano research technology, adjusted automatically. You know what's funny? Mai Wong said as she moved effortlessly through a zero-gravity section, "This is easier than that parkour course we set up in the Amazon rainforest." But the anomaly had surprises even Earth hadn't prepared them for. Suddenly, reality itself seemed to warp around them. Colors shifted, space bent, time felt wrong. Now this, Sarah admitted, is new. Professor Mira's voice crackled through their comms. Your ship's sensors show impossible readings. You need to turn back. Sarah's response was pure human. Impossible just means we don't understand it yet. James, remember that time you got lost in that whiteout on Everest? James White nodded, understanding immediately. When you can't trust your eyes, trust your training. Focus on what's real, your body, your breathing, your team. The crew adapted their desert survival techniques, moving slowly, conserving energy, staying focused despite the chaos around them. They treated the reality distortions like a sandstorm. You don't fight it, you work with it. Then they found something extraordinary at the anomaly's core, a structure, clearly artificial, pulsing with energy. Professor, Sarah called back to the alien fleet, I think we just found out this isn't a natural phenomenon. The structure was generating the anomaly, but its design was unlike anything human or alien had seen before. As they approached, they discovered why no alien species could survive here. The entire structure was built in conditions matching Earth's most extreme environments combined. Look at these markings, Dr. Tanaka said, studying the structure's surface. They're not random. This is some kind of test. Sarah felt a chill of recognition, or a filter. Professor Mira, what if this anomaly isn't a threat? What if it's looking for something? Looking for what? The professor asked. Species that evolved on Deathworlds, species like us. The team discovered panels that responded to physical interaction, but at pressures that would crush any normal being. Thanks to their Earth-evolved strength and specially designed suits, humans could activate them. It's like a cosmic combination lock, Marcus said, and the combination is being able to survive conditions that match Earth. As they worked to understand the structure, the anomaly around them grew more intense. But with each new challenge, they found that Earth training had prepared them in unexpected ways. Cave divers' techniques helped them navigate through twisted spaces. Mountain climbers' experience with thin air helped them handle atmosphere changes. Desert survivors' skills at reading subtle environmental signs helped them understand the structure's patterns. The alien observers watched in awe as the humans did what no other species could. They didn't just survive in the anomaly, they began to master it. But just as they seemed to be making progress, the structure released a burst of energy that nearly overloaded their suits. The anomaly began to pulse with new patterns, more chaotic than before. Sarah, Professor Mira's voice was urgent. The anomaly's energy is increasing exponentially. Whatever that structure is, it's either about to shut down or it's about to do what it was designed to do, Sarah finished. She looked at her team, seeing the same determination in their eyes. Earth prepared us for this moment. Time to show the galaxy what Deathworld graduates can really do. As the structure's energy reached critical levels, the humans faced their greatest test, one that would reveal not just the purpose of the anomaly, but humanity's true role in the galaxy. The aliens watched in suspense as humanity's children, forged in Earth's crucible, prepared to either save the galaxy or become part of the greatest mystery in cosmic history. Inside the anomaly's mysterious structure, Sarah Chen and her team faced the moment that would decide the galaxy's fate. The artificial construct pulsed with energy, its surfaces covered in symbols that seemed to shift and change like living things. These patterns, Dr. Tanaka said, her hands moving across the glowing panels, they're not just a test, they're telling a story. The team had discovered something extraordinary. The structure was created by another Deathworld species, one that had evolved long before humanity. But unlike humans, they hadn't survived their own advancement. Professor Mira, Sarah called through the crackling comms, we found records in here. The creators of this structure, they were looking for others like them, species that evolved on worlds like Earth. The alien scientists watched in amazement as the humans deciphered the ancient message, their Earth-trained minds, able to understand patterns that emerged from chaos, just like they'd learned to read weather systems and predict natural disasters. They built this as a safeguard, Marcus explained, his volcano research experience helping him understand the energy flows. They knew that species from gentle worlds would spread across the galaxy first, but they also knew that eventually the galaxy would face threats that only Deathworld species could handle. Mine moved through the shifting gravity fields with practiced ease, reaching previously inaccessible parts of the structure. It's like a cosmic emergency beacon. It activates when the galaxy faces a crisis that requires beings like us. The structure's true purpose became clear. It wasn't meant to destroy, but to find worthy successors. The energy it released wasn't random. It was searching for species strong enough to inherit the mantle of galactic protectors. James White, using his Arctic survival instincts, noticed something crucial about the environment inside the structure. The conditions in here, they're not just similar to Earth. They're exactly like Earth's most extreme places combined. This isn't a test, it's a message. They built this in the only language Deathworld species would understand. Sarah reached the central chamber, where a final panel awaited human touch. The alien fleet watched as she pressed her hand against it, her Earth-evolved strength allowing her to activate what no other species could. The structure's message played out in vivid holograms, images of countless worlds, countless species, all facing challenges that would require the unique strengths of Deathworld inhabitants. They knew, Sarah breathed in understanding. They knew the galaxy would need species like us, not just for this moment, but for all the challenges ahead. The structure began to transform, its energy changing from chaotic purple swirls to a steady, purposeful glow. The anomaly wasn't a weapon or a threat, it was a key, waiting for thousands of years to find worthy holders. Professor Mira's voice came through filled with awe. You've done more than save us. You fulfilled a legacy older than our civilizations. But the greatest revelation came last. The structure didn't just deactivate, it transformed, becoming a repository of knowledge and technology left behind by the ancient Deathworld species. Knowledge they trusted would only be found by those strong enough to use it wisely. They were like us, Sarah realized. They didn't just want to survive, they wanted to protect, to help others survive. They make this place deadly not to destroy, but to ensure only those who could handle its power would find it. The alien scientists watched in wonder as the humans emerged from the anomaly, carrying something even more valuable than ancient technology. They carried hope. Hope that the galaxy's gentler species wouldn't have to face future challenges alone. Back on the alien homeworld, the Galactic Council gathered to hear humanity's report. But instead of just sharing what they'd found, Sarah Chen and her team did something unexpected. They offered to teach. Earth didn't just make us strong, Sarah told the council. It taught us how to help others become strong too. We don't want to be the galaxy's protectors, we want to be its teachers. Professor Mira added the final entry to her research log. We thought we discovered humans because we found Earth. Now we know the truth. We found them because the galaxy needed them. They aren't just survivors of a death world, they're its greatest gift to the universe. Across the galaxy, worlds that had feared Earth's deadly conditions now saw them differently. Earth wasn't a death world, it was the galaxy's greatest training ground. And humans weren't its victims, they were its graduates, ready to help others face whatever challenges the universe held. As alien species began learning from humans how to survive tougher conditions, how to adapt and grow stronger, the galaxy changed. The ancient Deathworld species' legacy lived on, not in the form of weapons or power, but in the form of knowledge, strength, and unity. Sarah looked out at the stars from Earth's first galactic academy, where humans now taught other species the lessons their harsh world had taught them. You know what makes humans special? She asked Professor Mira. Not that we survived Earth's challenges, but that we never stopped believing others could learn to survive them too. The professor smiled, finally understanding. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't their ability to survive anything. It was their drive to help others do the same. The galaxy would face many challenges in the years to come, but now it faced them together, guided by the children of Earth, who had transformed from Deathworld survivors into the teachers of a stronger, more resilient galaxy.